and welcome to PM Express. Well, today we are looking of all these tribal sentiments that are being creeped into our political scene, considering how high tensions are when it's getting to political season. Do we indeed need it? Bearing in mind that in Ghana we are very, very tribalistic, extremely tribalistic. Indeed, we are more attached to our tribes than we are to the nation as a whole. Is that what they are being played on, or is that what we need? That's what I want to find out. That is that what the electorates want, or is that what they are being fed? Because bear in mind that you have the Akwamus, you have the Ekwapims, you have the Ashantis, and they want to remain as such before they become Ghanaians. So is that what they want to hear, that a parliamentary or presidential candidate who comes and says, hey, I recognize this tribe a bit more than I do the others, or I belong to you, therefore, I am one of your own. Who wants it? Is it that's what's being said? Or is that what we demand? And how is it that as a country we will be able to divorce ourselves from our tribes and then come together as Ghanaians? Because bear in mind that there isn't anything that holds us together as Ghanaians, apart from when Black Stars is playing. And now we are even falling out of love with Black Stars. So there's no single thing. And then you at home, today we're going to do the show together. So you join me via Twitter, you join me via WhatsApp. There isn't anything that holds us together sacredly as Ghanaians. Nothing. Everything just draws us back to our tribes and our clans. And here we are today with those who are running for office also reminding us that, hey, I'm one of you, or I'm not one of them, or he's not one of us. Is that what we really need? Folks, my name is Nana Ansakwa the Fourth, and also your host. We have a very unique and engaging show today. Stay tuned. Well, hello, and thank you for staying. And as I've said, we're talking about tribal sentiments that are being infused in our political scene, as if we need any more tension other than that. I've already spoken about how we are very tribalistic as a people. And I don't want to go all the way back into our history as to how we formed all these clans and remained as we are now. And today somebody said something very significant, that we are running two political systems in the country. We have the tribal lines going, so I'm a chief of a Dumasa running my own little republic. But then again, there is the political side as well, running these two sides. So if a politician comes up and says, hey, you know what? I'm playing the tribal card. How dangerous is it? Is that what we want to hear? Or is that what's being said? Now with me on the phone is Reverend Dr. Opun, who's General Secretary for Christian Council. And I want to hear his take on this issue. Reverend, you're welcome.
Thank you, Nana. And let me say good evening to all the cherished viewers of your very exciting, very productive program.
Thank you very much. And to the viewers, let me remind you that Reverend is my grandfather by default, so I always give him that due. You can join me on Twitter, which is at Nana Ansakwa. At Nana Ansakwa, you send your messages. Kwao is KWAO, at Nana Ansakwa. KWAO, Ansa has a H in it. And as your messages come, I will be sharing and your questions as well. But Reverend, tribal sentiments that brew in during political seasons. I don't want to put the blame that it's never happened before or it's only happened this time, but it creeps in during political season. I just want to find out, because we are very tribalistic in general, is that what the people want, or is that what is being served?
Yeah, Nana, let me thank you for the opportunity and say that this year's election is presenting some challenges to us that must be addressed, and they must be addressed very well. The issue of violence, the issue of cheating, and then playing of tribal and religious cards. And the issue you have raised affects all those who are playing religious cards, are also playing the violent car. It may not show today, it may show after the election. Now, we must be very careful because you need national cohesion, you need national unity to govern. And now when they play the religious card, the tribal card, you realize that you end up dividing the country and you end up sustaining violence because you are dividing people. This person is our man, this person is not our man, this person is from here, this person is not your person, you know, and you are setting the stage for violence. And you are making good governance very difficult after the election. Unfortunately, we as a country, we have suffered this over the years. And now the two major political parties, NDC and MPP, all of them at the moment are playing the tribal card, all of them. Whether it's in the north, whether it's in Buffer region, whether it's among the kings, you hear all of them at the moment playing tribal cards. And they are making it sound as if it's we need vote issue. It's more than numbers. The tribal card issue is more than attracting numbers. It is governance issue. And if we don't handle it well, they may win elections, but they may lose the people that they must govern. They may lose their commitment, their respect. They may lose their cooperation. And I want to use your platform to plead with the leading people in both NDC and MPP that if they care to know, Ghanaians are not very excited about the tribal card they are playing at the moment. And if somebody can put a stop to it, it will be good for all of us. And it will be good for them after the election. It will make governance more workable for all of us. And they'll be able to carry the people along. Nana.
Also, what I still want to find out, you see, there's a demand and supply issue. If we didn't want it, maybe they wouldn't serve us that, would they?
You see, look at how politicians are playing the card. You see, now they need the numbers. And therefore, it is like, can we go to this place and tell them who like you, who hates you, who is on your side, who is not on your side? And the way they do it, ordinary people are also gradually, buying into it. Mm-hmm. You see, that initiative is being done by the politicians, not the ordinary people. They are now those who are telling us they go to Volta region and we hear what they are saying. They go to the north and you hear what they are saying. They go to Achim and you hear what they are saying. They go to Ashanti, they come to Gat and you hear it. It is the politicians, and I must say this why it's not CPP, NDP, it's NDC and MPP. And you find leading members in these two parties talking like that. It is not helpful. It may it may attract vote numbers today, but they may lose their friends. They may lose the commitment of the people. If you need to spark patriotism, nationalism in the people you govern, you don't play religious and tribal cards. It's not helpful. It's not good for the future of this country. It must stop. For the sake of patriotism, for the sake of nationalism, every religion, every tribe, every ethnic group matters. They must rather unite us rather than drawing sharp line who is on this side, who is against this group. They are not helping the future of this country. It must stop.
Also, for the great majority of Ghanaians are Christians. So on Sunday, we are all at the church. And then there's another majority, and Friday will go to the mosque. And there's a very few who are, traditionalists. Then I think about 70%, if not more, are all in the churches. And then from churches, when we come outside, it's not reflecting. So let me start. I have another question, but let me start with this. It says that the church is missing out from Sunday school through all night and everything. Are the church also missing out in forming good citizenship? Have we all just become just good Christians and not good citizenship, as if there's a line between being a good Christian and being a good everyday person?
You see, Nana, let's admit that diversity is a beauty of God's creation. That God did not create all of us, Mamprusi, Evers, Achems, Krobos, Ga, but God created us with differences and varieties. And that is what makes creation beautiful. Even Christians, some know they are Catholics, Presbyterians, Methodists, Salvation Army, Charismatic, Pentecostal. That's the beauty of creation. There is nothing wrong. And we should not be ashamed of our differences, that I am this. In fact, even somebody must know I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim. I mean, if that is what we believe, we should not be ashamed about what we believe. It is when people start using our differences against us. When people start giving me impression, or I give myself impression that because the other person doesn't look like me, I can trample over that person, or that person is inferior. The moment I start relating with people like that, that you are the better group, this is an inferior group, our group is superior, you are on our side. If you are in our party, you are better than these people. Join us. We are better than these people are like that. The moment you play our differences against the other person, then you are misleading us. Let me say that leadership is the ability to hold together the various different moving parts. How to coordinate the various moving parts. So if you are a leader, and instead of bringing the various moving parts together, you end up separating us, playing our differences against us, then you are even weakening yourself as a leader. You are weakening. Well, if you do that in church, it's wrong. If I go to church and I say, I am this, I'm a gun, so I like members in the church, and I use that against non-guns in the church, I'm wrong. I'm weakening my office as a leader. And if a president does that, it's wrong. If opposition leader does that, it's wrong. Speaker of Parliament does that, it's wrong. Chief Justice does that, it is wrong. So, everybody must know. Everybody count. Let's count all. Rather than now going to people and you see this person is not part of us. This person doesn't like you. This person is a wicked man. If you like our people, don't vote for this person. And here, Nana, it is not that church has done X or has not done Y. At the moment, deliberately, the various political parties and the two leading political parties are those who are playing that ethnocentric card, trying to win votes. But that approach is wrong. They must stop. They are preparing the ground for violence. We don't need it. They must build this country together. Everybody, Christian, Muslim, must come on board. But now they are dividing us, and they must accept the break. The political parties, and it's NDC, MPP at the moment, that are dividing this country, and they must be worried about what they are doing at the moment with our national unity.
Also, let me ask, is that not the politics that we have chosen, multi-party system? So for me to win, you have to lose. For me to win, you have to look bad. Your loss is my win. So when I go out there to campaign, I have to let them know that, my opponent is bad, and everything about him is bad. He's a liar. He lied. And every time you hear, he's lied. Is that not the politics that we have chosen for ourselves?
Nana, if there's a word called cheap politics, that is what you have described. That is what you have described. That is what I want to call it, a very cheap politics. It's not mature politics. And we must grow, we must mature. At the moment, I think Ghanaians want to hear about quality education, health service delivery. We want to hear sanity on our road. We want to hear national security. We want to hear employment. We want to hear, foreign policy issues. We want to hear things that will build the future of this country. Nobody wants to know why Mamprusi should not like the other group and why Reverend should not like this and why Asante should not do this. We have gone beyond that, and nobody to send us back. It's backward. Anybody who play that politics at this moment must bow down their head in shame, and they are sustaining violence. They are playing one tribe against the other. You do it as if you are making people hate NDC or you are making people hate MPP, but you end up dividing and weakening our sense of unity, national cohesion, and sense of patriotism. That is what we are doing to ourselves. And I pray and hope that the leaders, the key leaders, the strategic planners of these two leading political parties must know that if they win election on the back of tribal divisions and all that, they are sowing the seed of tension and violence, and it may come and haunt them one day.
Also, listening to you is quite scary, but I'm sure you may have done some psychology somewhere along your educational ladder. But why have we gotten so selfish? I mean, I'm listening to you, and it's dangerously selfish. It's like, so far as I get power, I don't care who I trample or how divisive you are, but why have we become so selfish?
You see, we know at the moment, one of the feelings running through all our political activists and there are people who are related to them, from the president to the MPs, speakers of parliament, their drivers, their secretaries, their wives, their children, all of them at the moment is the fear of losing power. All of them, those in opposition and those in government, at the moment, all of them have that inner fear of losing power. What would that mean? I mean, those in opposition, if they lose power, at what cost? What is the price they are going to pay? And those in power, if they lose, and so that is what they are all working against, the fear of losing power. But, you see, our leaders very soon, they are called excellencies and honorables. Now, the excellencies and the honorables must choose the path of honor to attain power. They should not do anything that will in fact, dishonorable things to become honorables and excellencies. It's shameful. If you want to become His Excellency and honorables, choose the path of credibility, choose the path of integrity, choose the path of decency. There must be morality in politics. Now it is like we anything to win power, and so be it. It's not fair. You do that to weaken yourself as a leader. So let His Excellency and aspiring excellencies and aspiring honorables choose the path of decency. It is not on the day that they will be sworn into office that they must become excellencies and honorables. Right from the beginning, the process towards attaining power, the path must be honorable. We should not choose this honorable path to become honorables. I have Rwanda in mind. Now you go to Rwanda, you ask somebody, are you and they tell you I'm Rwandese. They don't want to even talk about how they played tribal cards that affected all of them, including the church.
Also, sorry to cut in, but you almost answered my next question as to even if the leaders are being dishonorable and un-excellency, whatever it is they are doing, I was going to just ask you, why aren't we the people, there isn't a critical mass that are showing concern? Is it because we haven't tasted what Rwanda tasted, what Ivory Coast tasted? Why aren't we concerned?
No, if you are listening to some voices, I've heard from Asante on this, the release, the press releases, Christian Council, many more people are coming out. That whether they will, whether they are listening. I think that is the issue. But I have heard voices here and there saying that don't lead us there. Don't lead us there. Don't send us there. We are one nation, one people. We have one common destiny. Hold us together. But then from time to time, you get leading members of the various political parties playing that card. So that maybe we haven't raised our voices strong enough. But then I have heard some voices that please don't play the religious card. Don't play Christians against Muslims. Don't play the tribal card. Don't play any group against the other. I've heard it, but if they have heard it, let me use your platform, say for the sake of our common destiny, please save us from this tribal division and religious division. We don't need it. Please hold us together, bind us together. 2 weeks to election. MPP founding members and former president and former ministers, NDC, His Excellency President Mahama, and all the party officials, our brother Mr. Siedun Ketia, and everybody, please hold this country together. Don't show us the path of disunity. It will not help us, and it will not help you and the future, the legacy you leave behind. Let us all be legacy-minded. Our leaders must be legacy-conscious, that we want to leave a united Ghana behind. Please save us from a disunited Ghana.
Osofo, thank you very, very much for that insight. I want to take a quick break. You never know, I might come back to Osofo for 1 or 2 more questions, but thank you so much. That was Reverend Opun, General Secretary, Christian Council, grandfather by default. Thank you for saying it. You can send your questions to my Twitter page, is @NanaAnsakwao. And who knows, maybe my director would let us engage on the phones too as well. I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, hopefully I'll get Professor Aosa on the phone. Don't go. Well, thank you very much, and we are talking to a subject very dear to my heart. We're talking about tribal sentiment that is being creeped into politics. And I've said, if you missed the beginning of the show, that as a people, we are very, very attached and very sentimental to our tribes. I'm an Akwamu man, and you always hear me, Akwamu Edumasa, Akwamu Edumasan, Akwamu this, and Akwamu that. My allegiance, Kwafa Kutu III. And then there are all many other tribes dotted around the country. And then apart from that, we have the whole Ghana as a state. We haven't been able to rally around the flag as other countries do. There isn't anything sacred that holds us together as Ghanaians. I always say when Black Stars are playing, we can all be Ghanaians. But in their last episode, we've all, gotten angry with them. So there's nothing left. There isn't anything that happens where we all come together as one people. There isn't. Maybe if you have something, you can tweet it to me or text it to me, but I don't know. Nothing that happens that you and I would agree that, oh yes, this is it. In everything, we have sharp lines divided either religiously, tribally, or daringly political. And here we are, a politician playing on that sentiment. I just want to find out if that's what you and I want, or if that's what we are being served. Joining me now is Professor Bedu Aosa. He's a noble statesman by all accounts and has lots of achievement, health couple, and indeed has been a forerunner of the CPP, so he's a politician. So I just want to find out on his campaign trails, being an Akan man, if he gets an Akan audience, would he slip it in and tell them, hey, look, I'm one of your own. Was it too bad if I became the president? Prof, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nana, as usual.
Thank you. I am very glad that you want to join on this conversation because it's a very delicate one. But Prof, is that what we want, or is that what is being served us?
Oh, certainly that is not what we want. But Nana, let me just go back to the statements that you were making earlier on. Mm-hmm. No country can expect its citizens to be patriotic. Mm-hmm. Every nation that I know, the Western world, they teach their children to love their country. Mm-hmm. So if anybody assumes that just because you're born a Ghanaian, you will love Ghana, then people really do not understand what happens in the real world. Mm. And since we're not doing anything that could make all of us feel emboldened to be Ghanaians, that is what will happen, unfortunately. Part of any grouping, and that grouping makes you feel confident or makes you feel happy, then of course that will be the first grouping that you defend. And that is why today, several years, almost 60 years after independence, tribal sentiments are still very emotional sentiments. Hmm. But we should have moved away from that a very long time ago. So, I mean, it's certainly not something that we want, but nothing else is on the table, and that is what appears to be on the table, and people take advantage of it.
Prof, anytime tribal sentiments come up, as a media man, if I raise the issue now that, oh, hold on, you made that comment and that comment is no good but in 2000 he did it, and in 2002 she did it, and in 2006 he and she did it. So then we made reference to look, it's something that's gone on and we've been okay with it. Why are we complaining now?
But that is not a progressive system. Certainly people have made mistakes, but at the end of the day, you don't judge people solely by them they have made. And that is not the reason why others should also make the same mistake. If those others found that the person made a mistake, they have no business making that the reason why they should also do that. Because as a country, we ourselves, and I say that there has to be a conscious way of making all of us, become one people. Once upon a time, we used to say there was one country, one people with one destiny. For me, that was a slogan that I loved very much, but it paled into insignificance as soon as the Kutu government was overthrown. Nothing else has come as a result of that. But I always say that as a country, we must weave it like, weaving kente cloth or like a tapestry, where all the colors are blended in so that you only see the final product and not the various strands that make that final product. Unfortunately, we're not busy doing that, and we are displaying the different colors with some gusto. And that, for me, does not really, it doesn't augur well for this country that should be growing and hopefully becoming a country worth its salt. It certainly does not hold well at all for us.
Thank you, Prof. Prof, since you say Kutu, and I think I'm one of the few Achampon loyalists in the country. So since you say Kutu, once upon a time, Kutu says, look, let's just have a sort of union government where we are weaving it like a kente cloth. Your success will be my success, your loss is my loss, and so we work together. But we decided against it, and we chose what we have now, a multi-party. And Prof, for me to win, you have to lose. For people to like me, they have to dislike you. So if I go on a campaign trail, my main aim is to jump you, where it hurts, and even if you're down, I have to keep kicking you. Is that not what the politics we have adopted to move forward with?
Unfortunately, in a society where a lot of people are not properly educated, this is what is likely to happen. Winston Churchill said, of course, democracy is not perfect, but it's the best we know. And that is why they practice it. Nobody has sat down to really look at the best system that suits us at this particular time of our development, when we have so many of our country folk not properly educated. We have so many of our adult Ghanaians who have transited from malnutrition and have got their cognitive ability all knocked off. Is this where we should be? An adversarial system where, like you said, if somebody must love me, then that person must hate you. That is certainly a system that I do not now think that we are really measured to do it. And that is why people take advantage of the system. Now, the union government thing, everybody saw it as Kutu's way of staying in power. I don't think that many people saw it as a system of governance that was properly articulated, that people could understand. We as a country must begin to say that, yes, the Westerners want us to be democratic, but democracy doesn't mean multi-party democracy. Democracy can mean so many things to so many people. We can begin to look at ourselves and create a system that fits the fact that, hey, we are a multi-ethnic community, we are at different levels of education, and so on and so forth. You go to UK, everybody has done secondary education. It's been compulsory since 1902. So you wouldn't have gone to secondary school. Everybody can read and write. Everybody can buy a newspaper and read and understand. And they can understand whatever strand of the politics that they choose. We are not like that. So somebody, look, there are chiefs who tell their people what to vote. In Ghana today, what the chief wants is what people will do. Some people, what the community leader wants is what people will do. But that is not the way that multi-party democracy should work. So we should begin to ask ourselves again, is this the right form of democracy for Ghana at this time? Multi-party, adversarial, where, people will fight and kill to let somebody into power? I don't know. And I think that these are all soul-searching things that as we move towards the election, I think that we should begin to really sit down and think properly. I think we've been, I don't know whether I can say that we've been lured down a certain path, and we should begin to sit back and ask ourselves whether really, sincerely, this is the only form that we can have as a country.
Prof, you are much well-read, much more exposed than I am. In your readings, have you ever come across any country that, in its budding stage, divided, ran a multi-party system and was able to make it? I don't know if there's an example that we can learn from.
No, I do not, frankly. And you see, the thing is that democracy has never developed any country. It has not. And particularly multi-party democracy. It has not. Most countries that chose it at that time were developed. They have gotten to a certain level, and let's go back. You see, sometimes when you say this, people sit down and say, there they go again. The whole system of capitalism was hinged on slavery and colonialism. I tell you today, if you get people to work for you, that you do not even need to pay them or feed them, you will make money. And that is a system that developed the Western world. But as soon as some people made money, they then developed what is called the conservative philosophy that protect those of us who are rich, and by our hard work, we will look after the others. Now, it's a brilliant concept if you are wealthy, but it certainly is not a brilliant concept if you are the poor. That they should be protected, and therefore the state's resources should be used to protect them so that by their hard work, they can look after the poor. And that is a system that evolved into this multi-party democracy, where the workers came out with a group and the establishment also came up with a group. So everywhere you have the conservatives as in the conservatives and the workers group as in labor, or the Republicans and the Democrats. That is how these systems have evolved. Where did our systems come from? Where?
Prof,
I don't like this man, you like this man, and that is it. Oh, he's from my tribe, and he's from this, and so on and so forth. And that is how we have evolved our system.
Prof, I deliberately asked this question because it's not hidden. And in the days of Wikipedia and Google, and in the days of internet, it's open to all. So one would ask, not even Ghana, but why is the continent of Africa not going back to say, hold on, this method that we're using has never succeeded anywhere, and we can't reinvent the wheel. Why are we so afraid to go back?
No, but we are a beggar nation, and those we beg from want us to go down this path, because they certainly know that so long as you are down this path, they have you forever, and they would direct your affairs forever. So, the fact of the matter is that even let's go back to our chieftaincy. You might decide that, hey, it doesn't have to be a royal lineage, but at least people who have done something, in their community get elected as community leaders. And as community leaders, you can begin to have a system where, at any level, there is a vote for young men and women who would control the various communities. It can be done. When we started doing unit committee, and people were voted as unit committee chairman, was that not a form of democracy? People all came together, we live in a community, and we've elected, 1, 2, 3 people as our community leaders. That is a form of democracy. But you see, where you have got parties and people are sewn down that party's ideology and would maim and kill because it becomes very emotive, all right? The stakes are too high. And that is why people do all the things that they have got to do. And they've got to use subterfuge, apart from everything else. Make sure that I have virtually conned people so that they would vote for me. I do not think that our politics is a politics of persuasion, because I don't see anything that is persuasive that is being said on any of the platforms. It is just rhetoric. And it's rhetoric that people will buy in and jump and become euphoric. That's all.
Prof, it is said that politicians have never built a nation. It is civil society, like good statesmen like you, who would do it. But is there the critical mass to sit at home and realize that, hold on, this campaign and these people we are following, we are going the wrong path? Do we have that critical mass to have that awareness?
I don't think a lot of people even stop and think about it. I mean, I think that it's almost like being on a treadmill, and it's very difficult to get off the treadmill until the treadmill stops. So let's say we're all on the treadmill and we're moving. And as far as we're concerned, there are some people that the current system suits very much, and they would die for it. They would do anything to maintain that system because that sets them apart. What people don't realize is that there's a very cozy relationship amongst the politicians once we elect them. Once they go into the house, they have a very cozy relationship. Once they are outside the house, they have got to let members know that, they don't like each other. Let me just tell you something. Many, many years ago, my father had come to UK. And my father, who was a politician, the first district commissioner appointed in Ashanti region, was sitting down watching television. It was the party political season, and was watching, a discussion, on education. And when they finished the program, he could see behind the screen that people were chatting, that people were laughing. You know what he said? He said, Ajimai, that is the politics we did not learn. That you are all, everybody who is in politics is supposed to be thinking that I can do better. I can make my country, let me borrow Donald Trump, great again. You understand?
Yeah.
I can make my country great again. But why should they fight? Why should they fight? We all want this country to be great. And yet, we are prepared to fight, and even maim and kill people.
Prof, before I let you go, have we gone too far down to turn back and that maybe we'll hit a disaster, or this is just our fate?
Well, I hate to think that this is our fate. I mean, I don't think that the political discourse is getting any better. It's not getting warmer. It's not getting sweeter. What is happening is that I see the discourse getting probably more intolerant and worse. But you see, we have a constitution. And until we decide to jettison that constitution, and I don't know how we can do that, we've got to go by it. But I think that it takes a bold leader who will win election and says, look, I have won, but I want what is genuinely an inclusive government. And I want to take the best out of this land to run this government. Now, if somebody is bold enough to do that, that person will capture everybody's imagination. But sadly, the parties are also too strong that party will not allow you as a leader, chosen by that party to win a general election to do that. So, in a way, we're stuck.
Prof, I want to say thank you very much. On that scary note, I'll say thank you very much. It was very insightful. Well, let me go to WhatsApp message, and this is from Oscar D. Asin Fosu, who says, "Good evening, Nana. Glad you're dealing with this issue, but my only problem is that the Christian Council and other religious bodies should have been held responsible for what is happening now on the political scene. Where were they when Dr. Bawumia started calling the president incompetent? Even the children are singing it. This is a great disrespect for our leaders, and ever since it has created counter reactions. If some people will insult to go scot-free, then no one should begrudge the president. He may be wrong anyway, but let's condemn everyone equally." Oscar D going on the equality tangent, which is the new trend now. Let me take this one here. This one says, "I don't think the president's statement is as bad as you're making it to look. The president is a Gonja, and the people he was speaking to were not Gonja. Certainly, his statement should be best described as religiosism, not tribalism. People are calling it." From Philip, let me say, if you want a nice shirt like what I'm wearing, is 024-366-2001. 024-366-2001. My WhatsApp, if you want to follow me, is @Nana_Ansakwa. And that's my Twitter, @Nana_Ansakwa. Kwa is KWAO. And thank you very much for tuning in. But as we've heard, there's no need hitting tribal sentiments. Let's just bring the issues down, and the people would feed into it and buy into it. Even if the people are not knowledgeable enough to know, as a leader, hunt for legacy and leave a legacy. My name is Nana Ansakwa. Thank you for watching PM Express. Tomorrow we'll be back to do this all over again.